this is the before. As you can see, it's really dark, dirty, ugly. My goal today is to really freshen it up and brighten everything up. So you'll first need an electric sander, 80 grit paper, 220 grit paper, wood filler, and a scraper. Okay, so the first thing that I do is go through and remove all of the hardware and any sticky stuff on the side. So I take 80 grit sandpaper and my electric sander and I start sanding down the drawers first. Originally I wanted to make the entire piece like raw natural wood, but realized that the top is actually laminate. So I decided to only sand down the drawers and then the bottom portion. Once finished with the 80 grit sandpaper, I then switch to 220 grit and I go back through and just smooth everything out that I've already sanded. I then start filling the holes with the wood filler and then scrape over with the scraper. I let dry for at least 24 hours and then I go back through and I sand with the 80 grit sandpaper and just smooth it down all of the way. Once dry, I go back through with the 80 grit sandpaper and I finish the edges of all of the drawers and just completely get the rest of that stain off of them. After I'm done sanding everything that I want to sand, I go back through and start cleaning all of the dark areas and prep it to prime it. Okay, so next up, you're going to need primer, a paintbrush, a regular size paintbrush and a detail brush, painting tape, and paint. Then go through with the Ben Advance primer. It is a water-based primer, and I paint everything that is dark brown. I did forget to mention before you start priming to tape off any sections that you don't want to paint. So I did about 2 coats and I let dry for about 2 hours each. Once the primer is dry, I start by painting the front side and then the trim with the paint because later on I will be doing a faux fabric look on the sides and the top. I let this dry overnight before continuing to do the faux fabric look. Okay, so for this next step, you're going to need to get a clear latex additive. I did a 1-to-1 ratio of the paint and then the latex, and then I mix it together. I tape off the section that I want to paint, and then I do a easy first layer. So after you're done with the first layer, you take a wire brush and you do horizontal stripes all the way down. And then you come back through and then you do vertical stripes. And you just kind of keep doing the same pattern until it's how you like it. You can keep going until the paint is dry. So I repeated the same process for the other side and the top as well, and this is how it came out. You're going to need a clear top coat, a paintbrush, and painting tape. So I bought the Minwax Polyacrylic Crystal Clear top coat, and I take that and paint over all of the raw wood. While the top coat is drying, I take my regular paint back out and just do a few touch-ups on some parts that I felt needed to be touched up. Okay, so for the last step, you're going to need a drill bit set, and then new hardware. Alright, so this is the finished look. Off camera, I went ahead and put in the hardware. It's just really going to brighten up the room. I'm obsessed with how it turned out. I love this. It's so much better than the before. I mean, look at this. It's so dark and dreary, and now it's beautiful and bright, and it's really going to add to the room. Well, anyways, if you made it this far, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more furniture flips.